Howdy doody duties. And here it is another week, and I got to talk about that fear I told you we'd talk about last week. Remember that? And people always saying, hey, you got to fear God. Fact is, I was kind of doing a little research on that myself, and I even happened to watch a few of these evangelical Pentecostal or whatever it is, people on the TV that talk about you got to fear God, you got to be afraid of Him. You never know what God's going to do, and you're going to be tested, and you're going to, oh, that's not true. God loves you. And I mean to tell you, that's why God gives you the ability, the greatest God-given freedom in the world is that freedom of choice. He gives you the right to make choices. And if it's wrong, He's not going to interfere. God's not going to interfere and say, oh, you done it wrong, now you're going to be punished. I don't quite work that way. It's kind of like you'd think maybe God sets up all these temptations and things so that you get into them and then you're going to feel bad and then you're going to be punished for what He set up. No, it's not that kind of entrapment or intimidation or any of those other things. All it is pure, genuine love. It's kind of like a parent that loves their child so much and they know that they need to drive that car right, but they know that kid's going to get away and he's going to try a little speeding and maybe a little reckless driving, but you love him, so you give him a chance. You do admonish him. You say, hey, be careful when you drive. Take it easy. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt anyone else. And all those things. And the kid probably, to a degree, will follow that advice. But sooner or later, everyone has got to kind of flex their muscle and try to see what they can do and how it'll work out for them. And if they live, and I use that term lightly, if they live, why they'll correct their own things. Maybe they'll have to get as old as me before they really tone down their driving and try to drive a little more intelligently, compassionately, and courteously. But it'll eventually happen because you just get smarter, I guess, as you have experiences. That's what we talked about last week, about how experience kind of gets you going. But on to this fear of God. First of all, Jesus, who was our greatest teacher that ever lived, bar none, he definitely wanted to get us back on the right path. And he said, I came not to change the law, but to fulfill it, meaning to get it back to where it was and to teach you all about it so that you could live the right kind of life. And that's what he basically tried. He was worried his whole life that what would happen is people would start worshiping him instead of worshiping the Father within. And he kept harping on that, but people just kind of bypass that later on because it's easier for them to hang on to the negatives than the positive. So when they interpreted the Bible, they took that word love. They said, oh, he don't mean love. It means you got to fear the Lord. You got to fear him because your God's all powerful. He is. And he's all loving and all kind and everything good. Kind of like that kid thing, sugar and spice and everything nice. And boys are made out of snails and puppy dog tails and all that. That ain't true either. But it's kind of nice to think about those things because you can compare them. Compare them with how man is with man. Oh, the inhumanity of man to man. It's amazing. We don't need to fear God. We need to fear ourselves. What dumb, stupid thing are we going to do next? And how much more stupid can you be? And well, then other people, they call them the angels. They say, hey, angels, where are you? Come down here and help me right now. Well, I like old Mark Twain's idea about angels. He said, God made man just a little lower than the angels, and man's been getting a little lower ever since. It's time. It's time for us to get back on the right path. It's time for us to exhibit love in all that we do and shower each other with it and give freely of our time, our talents, and our money. Yeah, that's an expression of love. And help each other. Don't be afraid and say, well, I give it to him, but I know he's going to go out and get a beer with it. Well, he might. He might have that low mentality and no spiritual awareness. It is inside him, but he may not be expressing it. But boy, he probably needs that beer. He probably needs that drink until he learns better and knows better and tries better. And that's what this is all about. That's what love is. Oh, you got to help him. You got to say to him, look, here's the way it should be. Let me help you. And you can't just admonish somebody and make them afraid to do something. That's fear again. Make them love the greater so that they want to be a part of it. Just like you and me. That's why you watch this stuff, is to be a part of it. Oh, golly, did I get a kick out of reading one of those letters that was sent to taunt.org. I read it this morning while I'm talking to you now. It was quite a kick. I'll bet most of you have something in your past or something now that you just kind of want to get off your chest. Don't have to sign your name or anything. You can email it, or you can mail a snail mail hard copy to them. They say they even put their address there. Maybe I'll send them one. I got a lot of things I could be really sorry for, and also a few things I could be proud of. I guess we're all alike. But you see, being proud or that, it makes no difference. It's all karmic. What you do, what goes around comes around, is the old saying. And I'll tell you something else. Fear is a word that I think President Roosevelt and Winston Churchill both made this statement. We have nothing to fear but fear itself. Let's eradicate fear and replace it with love. Or as a friend of mine says, let's void the fear and fill the void with love. God bless you all. Adios, amigo. See you or talk to you next week.